When the house feels empty, loving faraway kids, an opening note of reflection before we begin. Please take a moment to sit comfortably. Look around your home. What do you miss the most? Maybe it's the sound of the front door opening. Perhaps the laughter of your child in the living room. Or the hurried footsteps in the morning as they rush out the door. And then that feeling creeps in. They're doing well over there, but why do I feel left behind here? If that feeling has ever touched your heart, today, let's sit together. Not to blame the distance, but to give space to the longing. A longing that doesn't always need to be erased, but can be spoken to gently. Because even though they are far away, our hearts can still be close. Through memories, through prayers, and through hope that never truly fades. The awakening moment. Hello, I'm your online neighbor, Ordinary People, a fellow retiree walking this path with you. Thank you for joining this session. Let's take a moment, not to find complicated answers, but to discover warm understanding and hopefully a little relief for the heart. Today, we're talking about feeling left behind. Not because we are unloved, but because life has taken our children to places far away, different cities, different countries, or even worlds that feel unfamiliar to us. I understand that feeling. It's like there's an empty space in the house, and sometimes in the heart too. But it doesn't have to be a space of loneliness. It can be a space of new connection, new meaning, and new ways to love. In the next 10 minutes, we'll explore scientific insights and practical strategies to help you navigate this emotional transition with grace and hope. The awakening of curiosity. Let's begin with some gentle science about aging, relationships, and emotional well-being. Dr. Laura Carstensen, a leading gerontologist, reminds us that as we age, our social worlds become more selective, but also more meaningful. She says, in later life, we become more sensitive to intimacy and prioritize quality over quantity in our relationships. This means that the bonds we hold dear, like those with our children, don't disappear when they move away. They simply change shape. But that change can feel painful if we interpret the distance as rejection. Dr. Robert J. Waldinger, who leads the Harvard study of adult development, has spent decades studying what makes people truly happy and healthy as they age. One of his key findings is that meaningful relationships are the cornerstone of well-being. Not how often we see people, but the quality of our connection with them. So, it's not about daily visits or phone calls, but about the emotional closeness we maintain. Yet, before we can embrace this new form of connection, we must first soothe the heart that feels a loss. It's natural to grieve the change, to miss the physical presence. Dr. Nancy Schlossberg, an expert in adult transitions, teaches that acknowledging and accepting these feelings is the first step toward finding new ways to relate and thrive. This understanding lays the foundation for the practical strategies we'll explore next, ways to bridge the distance and nurture the love that remains. Insight 1. Stop waiting, start reaching out. One of the most common traps is waiting for our children to call us first. Their lives are busy, their rhythms fast. It's not because they don't care, it's just the pace of modern life. But if we only wait and don't reach out, what grows is not closeness, but emotional distance. So, what can we do? Start by taking the initiative to connect. It doesn't have to be a long conversation. Even a short video call once a week can make a big difference. Imagine saying something simple like, "This morning, I made your favorite vegetable soup." Or, "I saw a bird today that reminded me of the one you liked." These small stories invite them into your world without pressure. You can also send daily or weekly messages, photos of your garden, a quote that inspired you, or a funny memory. These little acts show, "I'm here, and I'm thinking of you." When you ask about their lives, do so without expectations or demands. Let your curiosity be gentle and open. Dr. Nancy Schlossberg calls this a redefinition of family relationships. We don't lose our role as parents. We just change how we show up. By reaching out first, you create new pathways for connection, ones that honor the changes, but keep love alive. Insight 2. Build a new community. Children may live far away, but that doesn't mean we have to be alone. Dr. Ken Deichtwald, a pioneer in aging studies, talks about generational interdependence, the idea that support and love can flow between generations, beyond biological ties. This means we can create social children, young people in our neighborhoods, communities, or places of worship who become like family. How can we do this? Invite a neighbor's teenager to join you for gardening or cooking. Share your stories and wisdom. Join community groups, book clubs, or volunteer organizations where younger members gather. Become a mentor or a friend. Host a weekly meal or tea time for neighbors, creating a warm, welcoming space that feels like home. These new relationships don't replace your children, but they enrich your social world and remind you that the ability to love and nurture never retires. Dr. Deichtwald reminds us that intergenerational connections are a powerful source of joy and purpose in retirement. By opening your heart to new children, you build a community of care that supports you as much as you support others. Insight 3. Find meaning beyond parenthood. It's natural to define ourselves by our roles as parents. But when children move away, it's time to ask, who am I beyond being a parent? Dr. Becca Levy's research shows that negative stereotypes about aging can speed up feelings of helplessness. But retirement and solitude can also be a stage for self-discovery and growth. Ask yourself, what passions have I put aside? What dreams have I yet to explore? Write your memoirs or a small book about your life's journey. This act of storytelling reconnects you with your identity and legacy. Learn a new skill you've always wanted, painting, playing an instrument, or even digital photography. Plan a trip, whether solo or with friends, to places you've never been. Dr. Richard Leider calls this process Life Reimagined. It's about building a foundation of meaning that comes from within, not from external roles. When you cultivate your own purpose and joy, the absence of daily parenting duties feels less like a loss and more like an opportunity. Insight 4. Emotional adjustment after retirement and children. Moving away is not just about actions, it's about how we relate to our feelings. Dr. Mo Wang, an expert in retirement transitions, describes retirement as an opportunity for emotional reconstruction. This means learning to accept feelings of loneliness or sadness without judgment and gently reshaping our emotional landscape. Mindfulness practices can help. Sitting quietly, noticing your breath, and allowing emotions to come and go like waves helps reduce the pain of loss. You might keep a journal to explore your feelings, writing letters to your children that you don't necessarily send, expressing love, hopes, and even frustrations. Therapeutic conversations with friends or counselors can also provide support and new perspectives. By embracing your emotions as part of your journey, not enemies to fight, you open the door to healing and resilience. This emotional reconstruction helps you build a new narrative for your life, one that includes change but is rich with meaning and connection. Insight 5. Cultivate gratitude and future-focused hope. Gratitude and hope are powerful emotional tools. Dr. Robert Waldinger's research highlights that people who regularly practice gratitude tend to have stronger relationships and better mental health. Try keeping a daily gratitude journal. Write down 3 things you appreciate, no matter how small. It might be a sunny morning, a kind word from a neighbor, or a fond memory of your child. At the same time, cultivate hope for the future. This doesn't mean denying the difficulty of distance, but envisioning new possibilities for connection. Plan future visits, celebrations, or shared projects like a family photo album or a virtual book club. Dr. Lovra Karstensen encouraged focusing on emotionally meaningful goals, which can bring joy and motivation. Gratitude grounds you in the present, while hope invites you forward. Together, they create a balanced emotional state that sustains you through the challenges of distance. The final light. Let's deepen our understanding with some advanced insights. Dr. Becca Levy's studies on ageism reveal how internalized negative beliefs, about aging can unconsciously influence our health and emotional well-being. When retirees feel invisible or less valued, it can exacerbate feelings of isolation. But awareness is the first step to change. By recognizing and rejecting these stereotypes, we empower ourselves to live fully. Dr. Mo Wang's research on emotional reconstruction shows that retirees who actively engage in redefining their identity and relationships experience higher life satisfaction and lower depression. This process is not linear. It involves setbacks, reflection, and growth. But the outcome is a richer, more resilient emotional life. Dr. Richard Leider's Life Reimagined framework supports this by encouraging retirees to see this phase as a creative opportunity to design a meaningful second half of life. The science tells us that while distance and change are challenging, they also open doors to new kinds of connection, purpose, and joy. From knowing to becoming, as we come to the close of our time together, let's reflect on what we've learned. Distance from children doesn't mean distance from love. Relationships evolve, and with intention, they can remain deeply meaningful. We explored practical ways to reach out, build new communities, find personal meaning, and reconstruct our emotional lives. We saw how gratitude and hope can sustain us. Remember Dr. Mo Wang's words: retirement is a chance for emotional reconstruction. It's a chance to reimagine who we are and how we connect. If you're feeling left behind, know that you're not alone. The longing in your heart is a sign of love that endures. And love in all its forms is always worth nurturing. Until the next reflection before we part, I want to leave you with a thought. Sometimes we think we've lost something precious. But maybe we're simply being invited to love differently. Sometimes we think we are losing, when really we're learning to love in new ways, unknown. So I invite you to ask yourself, how can I show my love today, even from afar? What small step can I take to bridge the distance? And beyond your children, who else in your life might you invite into your heart? If this session has touched you, consider sharing your thoughts or stories in the comments. Your experience might inspire someone else walking this path. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want to join us for more reflections on retirement and emotional well-being. And if you want to be notified of our next session, where we'll explore the deeper question of, what is my purpose after all my roles are gone? Tap the bell icon. Thank you for being here, for your courage, and for your heart. I'm Ordinary People, your online neighbor, wishing you peace, connection, and hope. Until next time, may love always find its way to you.